I'm Mitch Creek. I'm not a librarian, and this is the Fitness and Lifestyle Podcast.
Welcome to the Fitness and Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Kennedy, and I'm here to help you become the very best version of yourself.
Hey Mitch Creek, how are you, mate?
Fantastic today, actually. Sun's out, so I can't complain.
Sun's out and
Well, the guns are a little bit out.
guns are out.
Yeah, it's been training all day, so I had to.
brother, thanks for coming back in. As we were saying this before, I think this is like the fourth time, which is pretty fucking good. I'm not too sure what there is left to talk about, but we'll figure out something. But mate, tell us about how you're finding the season so far this year, 22-23 season. We've got about a month to go or something like that.
Yeah, or even less. I think we have 5 games to go. Last game's on the 28th of January, currently the 12th of January. But so far, I feel like, personally, I feel like the season's gone okay. There's always room for improvement. I'm so critical of myself, and people have thrown around the whole like MVP thing, and I hate talking about it, but it's funny that people can say that, and I'm so critical. Like I feel in my head, I'm like, I've got so much more in me. I've got so much in the tank. There's so many opportunities. You break every game down. You break every, you compartmentalize everything, and it's just like, I can do better. There's so much more, and it's not about playing a perfect game, but it's about being critical of yourself and knowing there's so much more out there on the table to eat, and I'm not really eating it all. So personally, I think I've been okay from where my stands are, but as a team, our health's been the biggest thing. Injuries at the start of the year, I had a pretty bad injury, detached my lateral band off my plantar fascia, which was
A few weeks before we started, which was great.
Yeah, it was 8 weeks out. That was a 3.5 month recovery time frame. We got back in 7, so that was
Gave me a lot to work with.
Yeah, great. So thanks to you and to Kerry and Scott out at Lakahi Wellness doing all my recovery for me. But yeah, look, so far so good. We're in a position right now around 4th or 5th with a bunch of other teams where we control our own destiny, and that's all you want, is an ability to have control over a situation, and it's up to us inevitably if we can do it or not.
Mate, I saw a stat yesterday, I think it was, and obviously highly unlikely, but potential for all top 8 teams to finish on 16 wins or something.
I did see that.
Outrageous.
I don't know what actually has to happen.
A lot of crazy shit.
Yeah. But stranger things have happened.
Yeah, they have.
Nick Kyrgios just became a part owner of the Phoenix.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to get you to blackmail him for us to get him on the podcast. Otherwise, you're not playing next year.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
no, I can hopefully get Nick in for sure. Look, you never know what's going to happen. It's if 8 teams finish with the same, it's a percentage battle then.
Yeah,
and then it's like every bucket counts, and then everyone goes, you know what, 20-point game, does it really matter if they score and it's an 18-point game to finish the game? Or does it matter if they have the ball, we're up 20, 8 seconds left, we steal it, go down and dunk it, and we're up 22? Does that matter? People go, oh, that's not basketball, that's not how you play the game. Well,
what are your thoughts on that? Because that happened, it's kind of like in the NBA, it's like an unwritten rule, but it happened in the NBL the other week, and I can't remember who it was. It might have been Tassie and
against
someone.
Brisbane.
Yeah, and then a few of the players weren't happy about it. Like,
I'm
when you
100% supporter of it.
Of playing right,
doing it.
Yeah, it just it's like,
because percentage matters.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
the end of the season is determined by 8 teams finishing, 6 teams make it. Top 2 go through, 3 to 6 play in a play-in tournament. If you don't score those points over, say, 4, we got 5 games left. Say we have 5 opportunities to push that lead out by 2 points more, 3 points more, 1 point more. Say it's 2 every game, 10 points. That could be a % difference. That means we win, we go through. We don't do it, maybe we don't make the finals. And then we're all sitting there with our thumb up our ass going, well, that was a fun season, but we didn't make the fucking finals because we weren't willing
didn't play the last 10 seconds
to play the last
5
10
games,
seconds.
yeah.
And we played 39 minutes and 57 seconds, but we didn't want to play 3 more because it's morally incorrect. You know, it's morally fucking incorrect.
It's pretty ridiculous though, isn't it? Like, you would
not
never...
making finals pisses me off.
Yeah.
Rather than some dickhead running down and we foul him and put him on his ass because you don't want him to get him a bucket.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I want to win. I don't want you to win. So I'm going to take every bucket. And if you're too scared to do it, sub me back in, coach, and I'll fucking play the last 30 seconds so that guys who are younger or some of the Americans who don't like the rule, whoever you are, it's easy. I'll be the guy. Yell at me in the press conference and I'll tell you what I think, but you're not in my shoes. So pass me the ball. I'll go and score, you know.
You mentioned before, even though you didn't want to talk about it, so that's why I'm going to bring it up again so you can talk about it. MVP season, I reckon. But the stats at the moment, I think you're sitting at maybe 23 or 24 per game average. I think it was 5 and a bit rebounds and maybe nearly 3 assists per game. It's a fucking very complete all-round season by you up until this point, which is awesome. I think one of the biggest things that people who have known you for a long time would stand out for most people who have watched you would be the improvement in your shooting, which has just gone through the roof over the last few years in particular. For those that are listening at the moment that, you know, may have areas of their game that they feel are weaker than the others, like, can you give us an idea of like the amount of time and effort and what type of stuff has gone into making shooting a strength of yours now, particularly from behind the three?
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to the pure basics of basketball and the fundamentals of the game. I coach and do a lot of individual sessions now privately, but every single person starts off their routine in their home programs is form shooting. Mm-hmm. Consistency in form, consistency in repetition, the meticulous breakdown of, okay, elbow in, guide hands, elbows aligned, follow through, good extension, good snap, good leg extension at the same time, landing 10 toes, facing the basket still. The simple little cues, staying in my shot. There's games where I know you text me and you go, hey, you're falling away.
Yeah.
And I look back and I go 1 of 5, make my first one, stay in it, bang, snap, beautiful. And you're like, fuck, that was good. And the next 4, you be a dickhead and you just snap and let it go and you don't stay in your shot.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Mm-hmm. But it's then watching it and understanding it. There's you and Tyler Neville, my best mates back in Horsham. Shout out Big Nev. Every game, hey man, you're pulling at your shot.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing this. They see it, they know it. Sometimes the coaches and players don't know it. But my best mates and yourself included know that. Because we've seen it over and over again. But it's doing the work every day. And it seems so simple and stupid for me to stand on the dotted D 3 feet from the ring and go 1, 2, knee bend, snap, hold. To make 5,
fundamentals,
take a step back. Make another 5 all the way up to the 3-point line. And then it's like progressively lead foot, trail, step back, 1 dribble, stay, bang. Make 3, take a step back, take a step back, take a step back. And then it's like ball handling pickups into your shot. And then I go and shoot. Mm-hmm. You know, 2 ball handling. So my ball handling's on a good enough string where I can then pick it up from anywhere and shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Now my ball handling's improved, my conditioning's improved, my strength and endurance has improved, and my confidence has improved because the more you practice over a longer period of time, the less you worry about, have I done enough work? I know I've done enough work. I've done thousands of hours.
Yeah.
So I can trust that.
Yes, for sure.
But if you haven't prepared for the test, you can't expect to ace it without having stress.
That's where the anxiety comes,
Stress, anxiety tightens us up. You know, if we don't cope and deal with that on and off the court and give ourselves the perfect kind of preparation or as close to, we fall short of expectations.
Yeah.
And I fall short of my expectations now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm still doing the work. And the great thing is, and the reason why I actually really like training kids and anyone is because I teach the basics. I watch you. Are you doing it? Are you holding it? Are your feet, your hips, your shoulders? Cool. Are you sighting the ring? Are you holding your follow through? I get to watch that over and over. You didn't hold it. Feet, shit. No. Yeah. Get your feet right. Do this. Hold it. Great reps. Awesome reps. Great. Amazing. Keep up. Focus. Follow through. You do that, all of a sudden, well, now we're talking about perfecting a craft, perfecting a skill.
Yeah.
And that's just one of them. But shooting for me has evolved from that, watching guys who just shoot the ball effortlessly.
Yeah.
And I want to now be seen as someone who's an effortless shooter.
Yeah.
But regardless of whether I make 1 or make none, or I take them. Mm-hmm. And I'm not scared to go 0 of 7 for a game because I know I'm going to go 7 of 7 straight after that.
Yeah.
You either make it or miss it, you're 50%.
Yeah. And I mean, that's, you know, from the sidelines anyway, it's definitely opened up your ability to score everywhere else now as well, because now you've got that respect of, even if you have, as you said, even if you go 0 of 4, like people are still having to guard you from behind the line because they know the next one is likely to go in. What's the, for those that are listening that maybe like junior players or even senior players at the moment, what do you, like how much importance do you put on training with the intensity that you would be playing in a game? Because I mean, you would see it a lot, but particularly when I used to play, like you'd see a lot of people, you know, practicing their skills, practicing ball handling, practicing shooting, but it's all just trash shots or trash ball handling where there's no pressure, there's no speed. It's nothing relative to what would be in the game. Like, I've been able to watch you since a junior put in just absurd amounts of work, and the same level that you're doing now in comparison to what we used to do when we were in juniors. Like, how much importance do you put on that intensity and I guess game-like scenarios?
I think ball handling is probably the one that I really try and, like, I only really work with 2 balls now. And then when I'm doing a lot of shooting stuff with coaches, even this morning, shitload of reps, but it's off the dribble.
Yeah.
And it's not just pull-ups right or left. It's like ball manipulation. So it's like bounce, pocket, bounce to each foot, and you got a one, and then it's straight into your shot.
Yeah.
But it's then refocusing on pound as hard as you can into your shot. But it's the guide, it's the follow through, it's the balance, it's the rhythm. And then you can start to, okay, I'm in a really good rhythm right now, and I'm just flowing and flowing. And you might make 15, 20 in a row, and you got to be like so mentally locked in to be like, yeah, it might be 10, 15 in a row, but I need to keep, it doesn't matter at the start of the session how I'm shooting. It's how I shoot at the end of the session.
Yeah.
But I think people mistake, sometimes I work so hard, that's really good, look at me, I got heaps of reps up, compared to, let's do an efficient 30-minute workout.
Yeah.
And
quality over quantity.
Yeah. There is quantity needed and repetitions for volume shooting to consistently become better.
Yeah.
You can't consistently grow unless you stack the days. And it's not doing, hey, let's just shoot 10,000 shots this week and we're good for a month.
Yeah.
It's just, let's just do 150 makes today and tomorrow and the next day. And there's 7 days. Now we're at 1,100, 1,200 a week. You're now at 5,000 a month.
Yeah.
5,000 makes a month.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah.
You break it down, it's 150 a day. It's not too bad. Like,
Yeah.
I can do that. So it's like, can I just chip away at my goals?
Compound it over time.
Can I do that? Yeah. And I just think that you need to break down slowly and effectively your form shooting, your rhythm, step in, all that kind of stuff. Your ball handling has to slow down, get the skill, then start to push, and then intensity, and then resistance, and then someone hitting you. And then once you've done your shooting, you've done your reps, you've warmed up, you've run off some screens and pin downs, whatever it is, whatever scenario, position you play, hook shots, finishes, play that, go scrimmage.
Yeah.
1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. You've come down to some sessions, even in the preseason when I come back with my foot injury, and it was just like, everything was great. Shoot, dribble, play.
Yeah.
Go and play. Learn how to beat your man, your woman, 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'll kick their ass.
Yeah.
Find a way to win. Find a way to get a stop. Be relentless. If you're playing against bums, scrub the fucking floor with them.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? It's relentless. Like,
Yeah.
relentless in pursuit of learning how to compete and win. And if you can do that, you're going to give yourself an opportunity when it gets to a game. I've been doing it for weeks in practice. This shit's easy.
Yeah.
There's less pressure now.
Yeah.
There's less pressure in the game.
This season, you cocked up game number 300. You went pro with the Sixers at, were you 18? 18, yeah. So that's a fucking a lot of games, considering the fact that, in comparison to something like the NBA, like the NBL has very significantly less games per season. What emphasis do you put on your recovery? Like, obviously, I know that already, but for everyone listening, like, how much time are you putting in outside of training and games to make sure that not only are you able to perform, week to week, but also season to season? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of it, it was Melbourne Floathouse. Now it's Lokahi Wellness, Lokahi Wellness. They've now actually come on board. I was there for 3 years, like every day or two. Like, I was doing my recovery in there. It's been a little bit harder this season because our schedule's been a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a bit more coaching as more active recovery.
Yeah.
And my recovery shifted more from going into the centers doing 3-4 days a week in there to doing 2 a week in there. But it's now doing waking up to cold showers. Everything's cold shower, cold therapy.
Yeah.
When I get a chance, it's 2, full body, neck in, 20-minute long plunges. Breathing, food, water, sleep. Like, I bought an Apple Watch because I didn't track my sleep well.
Yeah. And
I'd be like, 10:30 is, good. Lay down, watch a movie, watch an episode. It's 11:30. I'm up at 6.
Yeah.
Fuck, 7 hours. That's not bad. Close to 8. Now
over
I'm
the
like,
span of a week. Yeah.
now I'm fucking realizing that 7 hours turned to 9 is now fucking 14 hours more a week.
Yeah.
And then I can have time to schedule, plan, do more. And I've got all this extra time up my sleeve and I feel refreshed and I feel better than I've ever felt.
Yeah.
Because I've been on top of things more. My nutrition is still solid. I don't really stray too far. Like I love pizza. I haven't had like a big dirty pizza for ages.
Yeah.
You know, and garlic bread and a fucking bottle of Coke and you sit there on the couch and just fucking insert a fucking slab of garlic bread and pizza and you feel like mud. But I don't even crave that at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's more like
So
I'd rather
fun.
go and have some nice fresh pasta, have a few slices of pizza and enjoy that. And now it's more waters at dinner rather than just having a Coke or,
Yeah.
you know, like I've
Yeah.
stopped really drinking. I didn't drink for a few months this season.
Yeah.
You know, you stop going out. You don't fucking, you know, have a bit of a send on a weekend.
Burn the candle at both ends,
to
yeah.
2 a.m. and then you're up the next day still at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
mentality. It's like you're not killing yourself. Yeah, you don't burn it at both ends. You just let it kind of burn away and just, we're all right, you know, but we're
Yeah.
not killing it, you know.
That first season with the Sixers, you know, obviously you're a very driven person and set massive goals for yourself. But like, did you see your career getting to like the stages that you've been at up until this point? Like that first season as a pro, where did you kind of see yourself going?
Fucking no chance. I mean, I didn't even think I was going to play professionally, to be honest. I really didn't. People go, oh, you've had a really good career, but they look at me where I am now,
Yeah.
and they go, that's where you always were. But you don't understand. Like I literally started at the absolute fucking bottom.
Yeah.
You know, as a junior, I did country champs
Yeah.
for under 16 Victoria country, and then there was the Metro, and then there was all these other teams. And we did okay there, but then I missed out the following year on a state team, and then under 18s top age, I got picked up with Team Victoria.
Yeah.
We did, I think, third. You know, didn't win it, and then under 20s both years, you do pretty well. You win 2 gold medals at nationals. Then you get a chance to go to the Institute of Sport, and I spent 15 months there, not
Yeah.
even that. And you do a couple like world champs and stuff like you end up just trickling into like a bit of a junior career.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of juniors that have never made it professionally.
Yeah, for
A lot
sure.
of guys went to college. This is when St. Mary's was a real dominant
Yeah.
kind of Aussie school to go to. And I
Yeah.
looked at that. But going to Adelaide, Marty Clark was the head coach at the Institute of Sport. He went and became the head coach at Adelaide. And it was like, hey, man, you can go to college and do all these other things. That's great. Look at it. Do it. Have a go at it if you want to. But if you don't and you want to stay here, I'll take you in Adelaide.
Yeah.
Keep getting better.
Yeah.
Spoke to some colleges. They just blew smoke up my ass. And I don't know about you, but I'm like
Yeah.
smoke being blown in my ass. So I'm not sure if anyone listening does. That's your own prerogative. But I'm good. Like I
Yeah.
don't need someone
Yeah.
to tell me I'm good. I don't need someone to tell me I'm this, that, and the other. I just want to be fucking told this is how you can get better.
What needs to be
This
done.
is what we need to do.
Honesty, yeah.
This is a trajectory we can get you on if you fucking change this and you work hard.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it along the way. I was like, fuck, sign me up.
Yeah.
Guy did his knee. I came in a couple of months later, started playing, did 3 years under Marty. Joey Wright comes in. Year or two under Joey, wasn't really playing a whole bunch in the first year and a half. And then
Yeah.
there was a few injuries. And this is the start of my 5th year.
Yeah.
Was when I really got a chance with Joey.
Yeah.
But man, he fucking pushed me. Like
Yeah.
he broke me.
Yeah.
Fucking mentally, physically. Fuck me.
Yeah.
He's a bad motherfucker. But he got the best
Best
out
out
of
of
me.
you, yeah.
He knew how to get it out of me. And I didn't know where I could go, what I could do, how I would achieve it. None of that. But he saw it. And that's what it takes. Someone not just to believe in you, but to see the potential and have seen potential in other guys who have maybe made it and not made it to understand you got what it takes if you fucking listen.
Yeah, and put in the work and respond as well. I think that's always such a good sign of a coach to know the effective way to communicate with certain players depending on how they respond. And
Yeah. And sometimes you got challenged and you wanted to punch him in the face.
yeah,
Sometimes you wanted to wrestle him and drown him in the toilet and give him a forever swirly. But you can't. He's your coach.
yeah,
Like, there's guys that
you're right. You can't do that.
you can't because he's going to flog you one and then you're not going to play. You're not going to have a job.
Yeah,
So it is a bit of that like military mindset of like, yes, sir, no, sir, okay, sir.
yeah,
And that's what I kind of got to. Oh, fuck, I'll do the work. Cool. What do we got to do? We were shooting every day. We were shooting nights, like midnight shooting sessions. Like I couldn't sleep because I was so excited and fucking horny to get better at fucking shooting.
Yeah.
Because I sucked.
yeah,
I couldn't fall out of a boat and hit water. I couldn't stand on the side of a fucking farmyard barn and kick a footy into it. That's how fucking shit I was. It's actually
Oh,
if
fuck.
you've watched any of my fucking films when I was younger, I sucked. I was a minimum wage player for the first 3 or 4 seasons. I made fuck all money. And it's not about making money, but it's about having a life. I didn't
Yeah.
understand what living was. I didn't know what it took to be a professional, have the mental fortitude, resilience, toughness you needed, the distractions you have. You're like, I'm a pro athlete. How good is this? I made 50 grand this year. My first season, I made 30 grand.
Yeah.
As a pro athlete, I made $30,000.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Getting
You know,
paid to play.
Fuck, now you
Yeah.
can sign you can do a promo for 30 grand.
Yeah.
As a high-end athlete.
Yeah.
If you know how to talk, communicate, play hard, be,
You put yourself in this position,
you
though.
put
Yeah.
yourself in that position. But if I'd figured that shit out 5 years earlier,
Yeah.
I'd have been there 5 years ago. Rather than where I am now, 4th year with Southeast Melbourne.
Yeah.
You build yourself a career by understanding, listening to people who are a little bit smarter than you.
Yeah.
And sometimes you say, hey, don't walk in there, man. That handle's on fire because that fucking room's on fire too. So that handle's going to be fucking hot. Don't grab it. And dickheads just go, yeah, sweet. And they fucking grab it and try and walk in there. They burn their hand. You go, well, dickhead, I told you, don't go in there. It's hot. Guess what? He fucking turns around, you walk away, he walks back in there, grabs the handle again. You're like, fuck me, mate. Stop fucking going in there. Don't do it. And then one day you wake up and you go, fuck.
The handle's on fire.
It's actually hot. No wonder my hand's fucking scalded. But that's what
Yeah.
learning is.
Yeah.
It's not about getting it right the first time. It's about making mistakes and making it again. And then the quicker you realize that's not how you fucking do it, and it's slow, it's frustrating, it's demanding, it's challenging, like physically and then mentally. Then you add in every other distraction in the world.
Yeah.
Like men, women, food,
Yeah.
drinking, going out, partying, traveling, cars, whatever it
Yeah.
is, Scott. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. The world then throws you, like,
Racing
you've got
motorbikes.
professional athlete distractions, then you've got like life distractions, and then you like got, who you're attracted to distractions, and you're like, fuck, how am I meant to be good at basketball? Like, I've got so many distractions. But if you narrow your focus, you have a goal, you have someone that believes in you,
Set your priorities right.
you can squish it into an
Yeah.
alignment and go, that's where I need to
That's
go.
it, yeah.
And I can pluck some fruit off the trees on the side of the road as I go, but I can't veer off, stand under the tree for a few days because then I just fuck myself.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. And then, you're like,
Slippery
man,
slope when you
I
get to that
gave-
point. Yeah.
I gave up a week of really good effort and training because I wanted to go out with the boys.
Do you want to stand under a tree and get some fruit?
Yeah, like fuck, I love a good piece of fruit, but I hate fucking not getting better too, and I hate getting into a game and realizing that I fucked up.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I didn't do this, so this is it.
That's why.
And my mind will tell me that's why you suck today.
Yeah.
That's why you couldn't make a shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
because of the drinks you had last week.
Definitely.
And that's where I've like, nah,
Really know.
I don't have that now.
Yeah.
I don't have that issue.
And it's obviously paying off and showing you, for anyone who doesn't know, obviously you spent some time in the NBA, which we've obviously spoken a lot about. And I believe while you were over there, might have been over when you were there with Brooklyn, we actually jumped on I think we did a Zoom pod or something like that, but it would have been short between games or something like that. But tell us a bit about that experience for the listeners who haven't kind of heard about it much before. I mean, I think a lot of people would probably just like to know like the experience of like, pre-post game, the travel between games, like the experience of being on court with guys that you've probably idolized and watched your whole life. There's such a step up in standard, and also I guess the example of the standard of people around you and the standards they set for themselves, kind of allowing you to see what else is out there for you if you're willing to go to that level.
I think the biggest thing I learned pretty quickly was there's so many unrealistic expectations when you go there, and you get distracted so easily. Like guys getting paid millions and tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And you get paid like 30 grand to be in the G League. And then I went over, did a training camp with Brooklyn Nets. It's called an Exhibit 10.
Yeah.
You do training camp, you get paid anywhere between $0 and $50,000 for the training camp, which is like 12 weeks. And then you have, if you don't make it, you can go and play in the G League team, which is 30 grand US over 6 months.
Yeah.
That is common knowledge.
Yeah.
Everyone's NBA salaries is common knowledge if you Google it.
Yeah.
A 10-day contract's worth about $60K.
Yeah.
And then You have two-way contracts, which used to be about 250. Now I think they're up close to about $500,000.
Yeah.
And then obviously minimum wage is about 900,000. This is all US.
Yeah.
So
As
I was
a fully contracted
that's
player.
a fully contracted player for a season. Now I went over there on Exhibit 10. You get paid whatever they're going to give you. They might like you. They might give you 50 grand. They might think you're a dickhead, give you nothing.
Yeah.
Cover your accommodation, food, and that's it. Then piss you off.
Yeah.
And you go and play G League. So I didn't make the team in the camp. Didn't expect to, but it was a good opener because I was with the full Brooklyn squad.
Got your foot in the
and
door.
it was like 5 guys. And then I went and played in the G League. Spent 4.5 months there out of the 5 or 6 in the season, and we did a really good job. We were the conference champions. We had the most wins. We had a really solid team, but we played a really great brand of basketball.
Just before you keep going, I was going to ask that, like, because there are, particularly in the G League, you've got guys who are borderline making NBA, people trying to get to that next level. Was that an issue at any point in terms of like people trying to play for themselves? Because like obviously the team wants to win, but at the same time, individually, everyone's out there to get their spot. Get their chance.
Like a lot of the teams I always heard was like, "Oh man, you're gonna hate the G League." Like, fuck, everyone's selfish as motherfucker. And you're like, oh yeah, we'll see. And then you get there and you're like, holy fuck,
Yeah.
these guys are wild, man.
Yeah.
Like they all thought they were bloody Steph Curry shooting that thing sometimes.
Yeah.
But we had Will Weaver was our head coach, who's obviously coached in Australia and
Sydney?
with the national team. Yeah,
With
with the
the
Sydney
Kings?
Kings.
Yeah.
Over in Paris at the moment.
Yeah.
Shout out Will Weaver. But the thing is, like, we got that group together early enough and we said, this is how we want to play. You want to play? Piss off.
Yeah.
And he gave me the reins to it a little bit as a bit of a leader and a captain almost, and said, hey, you can help steer the direction, but you're going to have to earn their respect because you're the white Aussie.
Yeah.
You're not the, you're
Who's
not
just
Michael
got it,
Jordan. And with a team full of Americans and 1 or 2 Euro guys, it was like I had to kind of go and play myself into a leadership role where I could demand respect from people to say, hey, you didn't dive on the loose ball. We don't dive on loose balls, man. We dive on fucking loose balls, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we do. So I spent all this time in the G League. We have such a great record. And during that time, I was like, cool, I might hopefully get a 10-day call up. My agent's telling me, yeah, you're going to get it. Now, we're living like in a old kind of Hilton rundown hotel.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't glitz and glam.
Yeah.
We were in Long Island, which was a 2-hour drive east of New York, Brooklyn. There was not a lot of fruit under the tree, man. Like you were in a very cold place.
Yeah.
Like minuses, snowing.
Fruit wasn't in season.
It was not in season. There was no leaves on the trees. We had a Mall of America, which was a couple of kilometers from home. Didn't have a car. You just didn't have a way to get around, really. Like, it was really tough. It felt like you were back at the Institute of Sport.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you know, we're like, well, shit, the end of the season's coming up in about a month or two. Like, we want to try and, you know, hopefully get a gig. What's going on? Speak to the team. Yeah, you know, he's going to get one. That went on for like, months. Like, you're going to get one. It got to the point it was so mentally challenging because you are working your ass off every day. And then I was one of those guys because I did the Exhibit 10. I was with the bigger guys. It's essentially VFL, AFL if you understand footy. So we were the VFL side basically.
Yeah.
And I was training against the AFL guys, like the NBA dudes, Kenneth Fareed, D'Angelo Russell, all these guys who are injured, Karis LeVert, who are superstars of the league now. I'm like the injury guy that they'd be like, hey, Creaky, come down. We need to work you out. Cool. Brooklyn Nets would send a private car. They'd come pick you up. You'd train in the morning with Long Island. You'd have lunch. You'd get in the car. You'd go and work out with those guys in Brooklyn. And then you get in the car and you drive all the way back. And you get back in the evening and you're like, fuck. The next day you might do it again.
Yeah.
But you go to Brooklyn first, then you go to Long Island second, and then you got a game that night. Like it was a hard schedule. Physically, it was really demanding. A lot of games, like 50 games in that period. Then you're still doing
in the G League.
Yeah, and then you still got preseason and you got trainings and all this other stuff. And it got to the point where I was like, we have a chance to go to Europe. And we had to make the call. We said to the team,
we as in you,
my agent,
and your mate,
so Mobile Sports and I kind of made the decision, like, look, we need to make a decision. We got some stuff in Europe where, now you remember, like, you get 30 grand for 6 months.
Yeah.
It was like 2 grand, like every 2 weeks. Like, it wasn't a lot. Like, look, $1,000 a week is great. Came from very, very little.
Yeah.
But you understand in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you could go to Europe and be on a mediocre team and make 20,000 USD tax-free a month.
Yeah.
Minimum, end. good players are going to making 30, 40, 50, 60 grand a month.
Yeah.
Tax-free USD.
Yeah.
And you got to play one good season in Europe to go and get that.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit, maybe that's a really good idea. But I was like, I think I'm good enough to do this. We get a call literally like 2 days later, and we're about to go on a West Coast swing and play like 11 games in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I get a call, and they're just like, hey, man, you pack your bags? Yeah, man, we're ready to go tomorrow. Like, this is at 10 o'clock at night. He's like, all right, man, well, you might want to unpack, bro, and you might pack some stuff for Brooklyn because you just got signed to a 10-day. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how good's this? And you realize that everything just like unloads. Like, you didn't realize how much stress and anxiety and pressure you were hanging on to. And I just erupted into tears. And Will Weaver was the first person who called me. And then it was Matt Riccardi and Trajan Langdon, who were the GMs of the G League team and the Brooklyn Nets. And man, I was just got on the phone to my family. There's like 8 people on FaceTime. I'm bawling my eyes out trying to be like, oh, man. Like, the next night we ended up playing against the New York Knicks, on our home floor. And it was
what a first game.
Fucking sick. Like, it was to know that you, regardless of what it is, whatever contract it is, it's the one thing that no one will ever take.
Yeah.
Is knowing that you were enough. And everyone wants to feel that in their life in some way, in a relationship, in work.
Regardless of what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter. It's like, are you enough? Yeah, you are. And when someone proves that by loyalty and giving you an opportunity or whatever it is, it's everything. And that was when the roof for me, I thought I was there. And that's where the roof was like, nah, I'm straight back up here. And I was like, I got so much more. And I became a kid at learning and trying to progress, and felt like I was in a bit of a rut for a year or two, but I was like, that just blew the roof off, and my development went skyrocketing from there.
What was it? I mean, fuck, I can only imagine like how crazy the feeling would have been. It would have felt like you were fucking walking on clouds. But stepping onto the court for that first time, I believe the first point you got was like off a free throw.
Yeah.
I think it was. You got subbed in for free throws.
Yeah, so one of our guys drove to the ring, got fouled, hurt his shoulder, got taken out the back. And how that works is the opposition coach gets to pick a player to shoot the free throws. Our coach had told us, hey, brother, don't even worry about really tying your shoes tonight. Soak it in, relax. We got a game tomorrow night on the Tuesday, so this is Monday. You got a game Tuesday in Boston.
Yeah.
So just enjoy it, take it all in, So I'm sitting there doing fuck all. Like, and if you've ever been to an NBA game, that shit goes forever.
Yeah.
It ain't the NBL. Like, that shit takes forever.
Yeah.
Timeouts are 4 minutes, not one. Yeah. TV timeouts every fucking 2 minutes. Everything. And I'm sitting there cold as shit, stiff as, and then like, Creek! I like look up and he's like, "You come on," and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm trying to rip my ripaways off, which I've never worn ever. Didn't know how to, like, you've seen the ripaways, all the buttons. They're hard to get off. And I run down, and he's just like, "You're shooting a man," and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "I got to shoot these free throws."
Yeah.
And I didn't know what the rule was. I thought our coach picked me, and I was like, "What a fucking legend!"
Yeah.
And it was the other opposition coach, and I was like, "You're a dickhead." Looking back. But I went up, I clanked my first one. I was so nervous. I was like, this is my opportunity. And everyone went crazy in the stands because they knew it was my first game. They all knew I wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
And I made my second one and got subbed straight back off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome. The guys were incredible. They were so pumped for me. I was so emotional. I was sitting on the bench in tears, just like, this is so surreal. Yeah. But the coolest thing was then understanding, like, after the game, they're like, hey guys, you're going to come straight back to the facility and change and then go to the airport. We have a private jet taking us straight to Boston, and we're going to play tomorrow night against the Boston Celtics. And I was like, huh? Like,
not Jetstar?
We're going to take a jet? Not Rex? Like, how good's this? Like, full lazy boys, steaks, whatever you wanted. Guys are gambling, playing. Like, I was like, this is so surreal. What the fuck am I doing here? Like, I don't belong here. But yeah, it was the realization after a few games. Like, the first game I actually played in Boston, like, I think I had like 6 or 7 points, 4 or 5 rebounds, a few assists. Like, I was playing. Yeah. And I played a couple of days later, and that was against Aaron Baines, which was actually really cool. I got to play against Bainesy first game. But now, couple of days later, I go to play and we're playing against Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Bucks.
Yeah.
Got to match up against, him for 15 to 20 minutes. Got to play against him. You're getting some floaters. You're knocking down like cool passes. I threw like a behind the back pass, kind of look away on the break, and one of the guys got a layup. Like, you're playing.
Surreal, yeah.
Like, this is sick. Got
Yeah.
blocked by Giannis. Like,
Yeah.
that was sick. Like, I was like, oh my God, you blocked me. It's so cool. Try not to fanboy him, but
Giving him high fives.
yeah, I was like, great block, Giannis. Fuck, run back. But you become a bit of a child at times because I've idolized them my whole life, and you're like, fuck, I want to get there.
Yeah.
Got to play in Dwayne Wade's last ever game. Got to play in Dirk Nowitzki's last ever game.
That's insane.
Like that's,
hey? Yeah.
Like that's
As
stuff
you said,
that
no one can ever take away from you.
You could throw me in, the corner of the earth and never get home, but I could have some of these memories.
Yeah.
I'd be okay.
After getting to spend all that time, playing minutes, like you said, actually playing well and starting to get to the point where, I don't know if it would have worn off in any way, but like kind of losing that little bit of, super surreal moment and just starting to get to the point where you're like, I actually belong here and I'm playing well here. Then coming back to Australia, like, what's your mindset like now? Obviously, you've realized that your ceiling is so much higher than what you thought it was before. Like, the amount of work and stuff you put in, you've always put in so much time and effort. But like, now is there that kind of like burning kind of drive to realize that, I do belong there and it's something that I want to strive towards? Or like, what's your mindset like now?
I definitely want to get back there, but it's so hard. So hard to get back in.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in for the first time, but it's harder to get back in. And I feel like I've progressed so much as a player, but I feel like you've got to continue to prove yourself. And it's hard because you sign big deals and big contracts, and you kind of like that. It's hard to kind of break a contract and say, oh, okay, cool, well, let's just go back to the NBA and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't sign a 2-way contract. I have to sign a full deal. Because a club has invested so much money and time and effort in making you a marquee player and the face of the organization, and you're doing stuff for the NBL and you're doing all these things. Mm-hmm. If you're going to go back, it needs to be for a full deal,
a full commitment. Yeah,
yeah, and it's like you can't just go and sign a 2-way or a 10-day, not until after the season's finished, which we hope we can get. But even then, it's got to all align.
Yeah.
So that's still a burning desire. But when I came back, it was actually really funny because. Yeah, I was playing a little bit over there, but then the last like month and a half of the season, like I got signed to Minnesota. I finished in Brooklyn with 3 10-day contracts, 2 10-day contracts, sorry. And then Minnesota called up right before finals in the G League were about to start. I'm like, hey man, you want to come get a 10-day and then we'll sign you for the rest of the season? I was like, fuck yeah. Sick.
Let me have a think about it.
Cool as. Yeah, no worries. I'm a fully official NBA player.
Yeah.
Like not just 10 days, like I got a full remainder of the season. They signed me. So you do that. And they're like, there's 8 games left, and then or something. I think it was 8 games left, and they need to win 10 to make the finals. Mathematically impossible.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
So I was like,
there's something about that. That's not
they
really
can't make it. So like, they're gonna bring me in. I'm gonna play. They told me I'm gonna play. Didn't play a single minute. 7 games, didn't play. I was like,
fuck you guys.
Sick. Yeah. Could have stayed in fucking Brooklyn and won a championship in the G League, which would have been sick too.
Yeah.
And then the last game, I play like the last 5 minutes of the game. And it's like, I was so deflated after that. And I was like, fuck, like, I trained pretty well. I shot the ball well in training. I was being aggressive and played that last game. And, all of a sudden, you're like, you're just not playing.
Yeah.
You ready? You're ready. Yep, yeah, I'm ready. You're sitting there, geeing yourself up.
Yeah.
Staying warm, Theragun, like, fuck, keep my arms warm, and you don't get in.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right, watch the film, all of a sudden you just didn't play 7.5 games. Then you played the last 5 minutes, and I was like, "This is incredible!" Like, it was Dwayne Wade's last game. Like, it's awesome. Then you're sitting there, and you're like, "Fuck, it's a season.
Yeah.
What now?
What now? Yeah."
And I was like, "Well, I may as well stay over here and work out."
Yeah.
Hey, everyone's gone on holidays 4 weeks. Fuck. Can anyone work me out? Nah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone needs time off. Okay, so I waited about a month.
Yeah.
Worked out a little bit with anyone that was in town. Some of the boys stayed around. And then I was just chilling. Like I was just working out, having some fun, like, skydive there and learn how to skydive in Minnesota, like 30 minutes away. So I was jumping every day in the sun, just chilling. And then we start training again. And I was like, I'm going to get re-signed. They were telling me I'm going to get re-signed. Didn't get re-signed. Fuck. Okay. Well, shit. So then you go and you play you go and play Summer League. Go and play Summer League, do really well, make the grand final. We lose by like 2 or 3. You come back and then it's like, hey, we're not going to sign you. Sorry, but we really appreciate everything. And you're like, you were basically telling me I was going to get signed.
Yeah.
Like my whole mindset was I'm coming back and fucking kick ass next year. I'm gonna get this much better.
Yeah.
Didn't happen, and I was just deflated, man. And then Southeast Melbourne, hey man, new franchise. You want to come in? Sweet, let's go.
Yeah.
Here's what we're gonna offer you. I was like, sweet, like,
Yeah.
man, this is the first time in my career now that I've ever made good money.
Yeah.
Though all those
Well,
years in
work's
Adelaide,
paying off,
I was
yeah.
never the highest paid player. 8
Yeah.
years. Those last couple of years, I was captain, MVP of the club, fans MVP of the NBL. I was never the highest paid player. I was like 6th, 7th highest paid player.
Yeah.
I was not getting paid buckets of money.
Yeah.
I was just getting by, having a great time, getting better. Earned my keep. Did it the hard way. Bit of time in Europe. Went to the NBA. Came back. Earned my fucking deal.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where it's fucking like, that's tough.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to understand that it's not just cream on top of the cake. You got to
Yeah.
fucking bake that shit. Put your cream on. Bake another fucking cake. Put that on. Fucking do another one. Do the outer layer. Put another one on. Do all the fluff. Then you put the cherry on top.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of starting to do the top. And I was like, now I'm getting there. What can I, like, what do I got to do?
Yeah.
I just realized I hadn't fucking played basketball in like 3 months. I hadn't played a full game in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like, not even close. I came back and they're like, yeah, sweet as, no worries. Going to play the first game, Melbourne v Melbourne. Southeast Melbourne versus Melbourne United. I played like 35 minutes. I was fucking cooked.
Yeah.
I was so out of shape. I hadn't been in game shape. I was bullshitting my way to winning that game and
Yeah.
playing really well. But that was kind of the bar I set was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to go out and that's minimum standard. That's bare minimum, you know. And it was an MVP performance on the night.
Yeah.
You know, you have 20, 30 odd points, you hit a bunch of threes, you're making plays, dunks, crowd's going crazy, win. Awesome. And that's the standard now.
Yeah.
That's where the bar's set for me. And I think that's where my next few years I've been able to progress every year.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I set that was the minimum standard required to
Yeah.
even enter the court.
That's it, man. And we're season 4 now with Phoenix and tough run through the end of the season, but definitely fucking looking forward to these next few games, man, in particular. But mate, I don't even know what to say. Like, I think, as I said, particularly growing up with you and seeing how much you've improved and just seeing all the stuff you've achieved over the years, it's just fucking awesome. And I'm super pumped to still be part of it. And I mean, I could literally sit here and just talk to you all day. There was so much other shit I wanted to talk about, but I got too excited with the NBA stuff. But yeah, man, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. And like I said, we'll get you back on for a 5th time very
I
soon.
appreciate
But good luck for the rest of the season. It's been a pleasure helping you out again this season. And
I think that's the other thing, though, that people may not understand is where you grow up is where you got to always hold your ties to. And
Yeah,
I've never let
sure.
it get away from me because I understand and I ground myself to people who have worked just as hard as me
Yeah.
to be just as successful in other fields.
Yeah,
And I think you take away a lot from yourself to put this podcast around me, but people need to understand the greatness they have in a connection with you. And the Fitness and Lifestyle podcast is one thing, but Danny Kennedy as a trainer and a mentor is just as beneficial as anything else that I do off court, you know, to train, to prepare, to recover, to better my skill set, to better myself. So I think people need to understand that, like, I'm signed up to your app. My sister's signed up to your app. Like, I put people to you
Yeah.
all the time because of how good you are. And all of my strength, my conditioning, most of my rehab, all my gym programs, they're all monitored through the app, through the weights, through the reps, through the comments, everything. Your check-ins 2-3 times a week. Every game you're checking in. It's a consistency of excellence, not just with myself, but with the people around me that helps you become successful. And it doesn't just happen overnight. It took me 11, 12, 13 years to be as an MVP candidate in the NBL. That's just one phase of my life. But now it's about learning how to transition my life now, using the people around me to help better myself, better you, better everyone in here. But I think people need to understand the greatness I have with a connection with you and a resource. And I urge people to use it, because if you look at me and find any of this motivating or helpful at all or insightful, fucking great. But understand, I get a lot of this shit from you. So I need to say thank you to you for keeping me fucking fit and healthy and in the greatest shape I've been in my career, playing at the level I do, because without that, I wouldn't be at that level and I wouldn't be as consistent as I have been. So I appreciate you and the time you give me And to both say we're from Horsham, we've grown up together, and to be able to both share in each other's achievements and continue to grow together, I think that's probably the most special thing about everything.
It's very special. No, it's epic, man. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, thank you, man. But thanks everyone who was tuned in, and make sure you follow along with the rest of the Phoenix season this year. Hopefully we see you guys go all the way. I'm keen to get to a few more games at John Cain, so if you could just win a few more games, that'd be good for you, man.
I'll talk to the boys.
But everyone who tuned in, thanks so much for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. Make sure you jump on socials and give Creaky a follow if you're not already. But yeah, thanks again for coming in, brother. I appreciate that. And for everyone who's enjoyed the episode, take a screenshot of this one, share it on your story, tag myself, tag Mitch, and of course follow along with the rest of the NBL season. And thanks for tuning in.